Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a review of the brand new LEGO train set from 2018. This is set number 60198 and I finally have one. So I put this off for the longest time because I just wasn't interested when this was released. I saw this as a basic reskin, it's overpriced, and frankly I do still disagree with the price. But it's too late now because I own one. But still, this is actually not a bad set. I gave it a lot of criticism when I first saw this, and that, well, not all of it, but half of it has gone away. So there is a hell of a lot going on with this set. There is a lot of track, which is very good because past sets had smaller amounts of track. Some details are good, some details are bad, but it also features the brand new PowerUp System, which is basically the replacement for power functions. So, let's jump in. So this first section will cover some of the smaller things of this set. So we have 6 minifigures. They are very well made, I have to say. You can tell which ones go where. The new railway uniform has been used for a few sets now, and I do also confess that these look very good. I'm actually preferring these to the previous ones. The colours are more appropriate, there's some more modern details to it, and yeah, it just looks pretty good. There is a bit of a story thing going on because this is, of course, a kid's toy. There's this minifigure who wants to rob the money that's going on this train. And speaking of money, there is a bank vehicle. So this is it here. It is not bad, but it's the same as any other city vehicle, basically. 6 studs wide, kind of simply built, but for what it is, it's pretty good. There's this big open door here on the side because there is a forklift, liftable sort of pallets. That's the word, pallets. So yeah, there's a pallet that can sit in there that carries gold and money, so that can be used for transport there. Again, playability. And of course, 2 doors at the back for the sakes of the minifigures. Now that they're closed, I can't reopen them because that is a pain in the ass to open. But yes, in terms of details, this vehicle is not bad, but it's a nice looking vehicle. It's very different as well. I don't have anything like this, nothing money transport wise. It kind of reminds me of the Grand Heist at the end of Grand Theft Auto 5. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm actually quite pleased with that. I'm also very pleased with this forklift. Now, there was another train set that had a forklift, but since that one is taken apart, I have this one now, and this is very cool indeed. Of course, the elastic band to keep these 2 pieces together, and you can press it all the way down, but if you were to let go, it would ping straight up. So if you've got anything on there, you need to be careful, of course. This top piece does come off. Well, not come off, it opens up, I should say, and you can, of course, place one of your minifigures in there. I believe it's one of these 2 middle ones that go in the forklift. Well, it doesn't really matter which one, I suppose, because they're all kind of similar. This one is the bank driver, of course. This one's some loser. But yeah, in terms of this mini, what's this thing called? Forklift. Anyway, I distracted myself for a second. But yes, in terms of the forklift, it actually looks really nice. It's small and simple, but it's beautiful as well. Now you only get something, you only get one thing for the landmark side of things. You get this sort of, I would call this a signal box, but I don't actually know. So it's a tall tower sort of thing that basically controls lights. There's this little piece at the back that turns the lights to be red or green, which looks pretty good. I do like that, and I can definitely set that up with other things that I have on my railway. But it's literally it, that's it. I mean, there's no other pieces to it. It's kind of simple. This top cam piece does look nice though. I do kind of like the general look of this, and it does pretty good. But it's just this sort of piece here that kind of turns me off. I don't know what it is, but it's probably because of the play bits. Again, go back to the fact that this is a kid's toy, because kids want to play around and probably spin it around like that. That's probably why they made it so. But yeah, oh yeah, one thing I should also point out, it's going to be a bit difficult to show this, but there is a new piece, or this is new to me at least. So this, without knocking it over, so this piece here, this black piece connecting the 2 circle pieces together, is actually a new Technic brick, which is very good. It's introducing new bricks that allows more possibilities for builds in the future, which I am very, I'm one for basically. So yeah, the ladder as well is very nice. This is a ladder that I think has been used for Lego City Fire sets as well. So I wouldn't say that's new, but it's definitely new to me. This is the first one of this I have. But yeah, pretty good. Nice and simple, which is kind of nice. I mean, the way it's all built up, you can tell it's not too complicated, but it could definitely be so much better. Obviously, in time, I will be taking this to another level. I can probably combine this with other things that I have. But for what it is, it's pretty good. One last thing I'm going to quickly cover, because I got this in the video. You, of course, have a brick remover, which I never used. And you get a fair whack of spares. That is interesting to say, because normally when you get spares, there's only 1 or 2 pieces left over. But because there was how many bags was it? I think there was 12 bags, which is ridiculous. But then again, this is a big set, so seeing this many spares is a shock to me. It was like a reminder that, yeah, this was a big set, there's going to be a lot of spare stuff. So yeah, that is all of the kind of smaller things. Now it's time to move on to the track. So in this set you get 16 curved pieces, 16 straight pieces, and 1 set of points. Now if I were to go to the box over here, you can see it in better detail there. So yeah, 16 of each, 1 of the points, and that is one of the larger layouts you can make. I got to say, I think that is definitely one of the larger ones that you could make with the Lego City train sets. The passenger ones in particular are just circles, and with the cargo train sets, I think you only had like 4 straight pieces. I can't actually remember, but it was definitely smaller, so to see this many straight track pieces in particular is a very warm welcome. Now, I've got all of these separated, with these 2 sticking out. So what are these? First of all, we have another level crossing, which I am very happy to see, because I do have a level crossing set up with my larger signal box. So to have a second smaller one is, again, a very warm welcome. I have a smaller signal box as well, which I could combine with my new one of these, basically. So that's pretty good. I can put the 2 together to make a better build. But the thing I'm actually quite hyped for is the buffers. Yeah, really. So let me swap hands 1 sec. So these are actually very cool, and I love these so much. It's such a simple build, but the way it's done is so cool. It uses some Technic bricks to allow a perfectly level set of buffers. You could add to the top, of course, because, well, it's Lego and it has been built up to allow that. But the way that it's built is genuinely just perfect. So if I actually get the other straight track piece, let's get that on there. And if I just get one of the wagons, thanks to this, we'll have this one. So the way that kind of connects is bang on. That's perfectly level. No movement, there's no kind of interference or anything. It's perfectly smooth and it just works really well. I do like as well how it leaves a bit of space for the magnet. So yeah, there's that. And it's so weird for me to say, but the buffers are probably one of the most exciting things about this set. It's so nice to see that. Obviously in the past I've tried to make my own sets of buffers, but they've never really worked out. But to see this was actually really cool. So I'm going to have to copy this build and make a few more for my layout, I think. But yeah, that's actually really nice. So it's good to see some more track details too. The level crossing is always welcome. And buffers, this design needs to be added to more train sets. I need to make that known. So yeah, that is all of the vehicles, all the extra stuff. That's all the track. Time to get to the good stuff. We now have the train and the rolling stock. Yes, the good stuff. So there are some good things and some bad things about this little collection here. So let's start off with the rolling stock, because we can bash through this. So I'm going to start off with this log carrier wagon. It's a smaller wagon, which I am quite happy with, because British rails use smaller locomotives and smaller bits of rolling stock. So this is something I'm more familiar with, and it's just nice to have a smaller truck in general. I have a lot of articulated wagons, so if I take the crane one set, you can tell that uses a coach base and these articulated wheels. I have a lot of those, so to have something smaller is a warm welcome. The logs are very nicely done as well, so if I quickly lift one of these up, it uses, what is it, is it 1, 2, that's 12, yeah, so there's 12 per log. It has this interesting, I don't know what you would call it, so it's not Technic, but it's a piece that allows these chain bits to go on the top. Of course, this has a crane with this set, so it will need to be lifted up somehow. But yeah, the way it's all done is actually really nice. Of course, having this chain there makes a lot of sense. But just looking at it, it's a really good piece. I mean, just plain and simple. It looks really nice. I'm actually really happy with this. Even if I were to take all 3 logs off, that truck on its own would still work. It's a very simple build, but because it's a small truck, for me, it gets away with it. There we are. Let's get rid of that. let's move on to this flatbed now. So this is a container carrier flatbed, or whatever other name you want to give it. This is interesting. So let's look at the containers first. So this is the bank one, of course, relating to the play side of this train set. Inside we have the... oh, I had the name a moment ago. What's it? A pallet, that's it. So the pallet has money on it and some gold bars that let's take it out and show you. There we go. Looking very nice indeed. That's actually pretty good. Nice to see some more golden bricks. And yes, that can indeed fit in the vehicle that you saw earlier. Make sure that's sat flush. There we go. The doors work very well. They're nice and smooth. All of these are stickers as well, which is interesting because there were a hell of a lot of stickers. Let me actually get this ready because there's something I want to show off in just a moment. But yeah, I'm going to keep this one to the side to help demonstrate the crane in a moment. This container is interesting. There's no sides, which I'm not too fond of, but as you saw there, it kind of needs it for the space of what is inside. This is a jet ski. Pretty cool. I actually quite like this. This orange piece here is the only printed detail in the set. Everything else is a sticker, which is weird. But you know what, that saves me having to try and perfectly get a sticker on, so I'm okay with that. Now, because of the open sides, it's a bit irritating because this isn't real, so to say. I mean, any or every container, in fact, would have all four walls completely covered up. These bricks here, these are nice and textured. These are actually pretty well done, so I'm actually really happy with them. It's the lighter of the two. I mean, picking these up, you can tell this is a little bit lighter just because those side walls aren't there. But if you took those off, that's the flatbed itself. That's literally it. That is awful. That is so bland, that is so boring. I can't believe LEGO continue to do this. This is not the first set where this has happened. I'm very sure, I'm absolutely certain. I am very sure that in one of the past cargo sets in particular, of course, it will be a cargo set where it has containers to go onto a flatbed. The flatbed itself will just be completely bland. Now, I want to say it's the 2014 one, but I can't remember. It's either that or the yellow 2010 one, but I definitely recall seeing something like this before. This is weak. This is not acceptable. This is definitely going to be modified to have a 6-wide base. But come on, I mean, for real, this is ridiculous. It looks good when you get the containers on there, but when you take the containers off, it's a piece of rubbish. Right, I need to actually take that one back off. So, this is going to be difficult to demonstrate because it might need two hands in some areas, but this crane is actually quite fascinating. So this whole setup back here was a very complicated build and took a hell of a lot longer to make than I thought it would. But I'm very happy to finally have a rail crane on my railway. And I would definitely be modifying this in the future to make it longer, to make it better. Because, well, as it is, it's not bad. It really isn't. This is pretty good. There's only one problem with this crane that I will demonstrate. So first of all, full 360 articulation. Very good indeed. On both sides, it has stabilizers, which you can move all the way downwards, which is, again, very good. But I'm not going to really do anything with that just yet because it's a bit difficult to do things one-handed. The crane does move up and down with the rear brick piece, which is very cool to see. And the... oh, pardon me. So the hook arm actually moves as well by turning these side pieces. A lot of wiggle, but yeah, I'm actually quite used to that because that's all of these cranes are made, basically. So if I were to just... let me try and hook this up. Play around with this for a little bit. So I'm going to keep that arm there. I'm going to move this downwards. Right, we're going to hook this up. Make sure there's no space. Okay. Now just pay attention to the arm, okay? Did you see that? If you didn't see it, go back and watch it again for the past 10 seconds or so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this down. Just watch the arm again as soon as the... okay, so here we go. Watch the arm now. There we go. Now that this is nice and loose, I can take that off. This arm cannot support the weight of the containers. Now, I have tested it before this video with this container too, and it does the exact same thing. This has been built with a weak construction, which is extremely frustrating and disappointing. The arm bent downwards before it could lift the container. That isn't good at all. Plain and simple. So I can actually modify this in the future. If you... oh, what was it? It was a really old set, that much I do know. If you had the old Lego City construction site mobile crane, such a good set as well. It's the one that had 4 wheels and articulated in the middle. There was, again, I don't even know what you'd call this, but there was a balancer sort of thing between the arm and the base. So as it was lifting up, it would sit in position and it would prevent this from happening. So that's a modification I'm going to have to make. And now the diesel itself. So when I first saw this diesel, I said that I was not impressed. This was basically just, again, another random diesel that Lego threw together. It's nothing special, it's just another diesel basically. And because my railway focuses heavily on steam, especially large steam locomotives, I had exactly zero interest. But of all the diesels that Lego has made for their city cargo sets, this has to be one of the better ones. It looks pretty good in person. I do have to say that I was wrong about my first judgment. It is quite nice to look at, and it has a lot of brick built elements, which I am one for. So let me explain. This side piece here, where all these grey bits are, that is a bunch of those 1x2 grill pieces connected to a big base plate, connected to side pieces which connect to the battery box, which all connect to other bricks, which is good. Take the blue 2014 set. That would have been just one big tile piece with a big sticker in the middle, which was very boring and very quick to put together. This actually uses brick built detail again, which is so much better. I'm really happy with that. Now this diesel also has 2 cabs. So we have one at the front over here with no minifigure, because I took all the minifigures out to show you at the beginning of the video, and the other one over here. I do like how these lift up like this and kind of swing upwards instead of them actually being removable. This keeps it to the diesel, and of course it just looks nicer, I suppose. We have pantographs as well. I'll learn the name. That's what these things are. These have the ability to be moved around, so you can position them however you like. Now, I'm not big on diesel, so I'm not too good with details, but all in all, this is a very nice looking diesel. If I put that to the side, actually, get a good look at that. That's actually quite nice. I do not want to take this apart because I would actually like to expand the diesel side of my railway. I have a few, and I do plan on potentially making more. Take that with a pinch of salt, because whilst I have ideas for more diesels, I don't have many, so yeah. The biggest thing about this diesel, the new PowerUp System. So this is the replacement for the power functions. Just before we get into that, look at this controller. That is beautiful. It's so much smaller, it's cleaner, and oh, it looks so good. I'm so happy with this. So let me put this back on its side. Let me show you how, well, I can't really show you, but let me try and explain how the new system works. So with power functions, you would have the motor, which is what this is, that would connect to an infrared receiver, that would then connect to the battery box. This has a motor and just the battery box. We all know how the power functions work, where they have that brick-built connector system, where you have to actually snap it onto the other parts. This just has a proper electric plug that you plug into the side of the battery box. It's cleaner, it's better, it's a lot tidier as well, and it makes things a lot easier when it comes to building your power functions models. So I'm actually on board with this. When I first heard about this, I was a bit skeptic, but now that I've actually got this in my hands and I'm using this personally, I am very much on board with this new system. It's going to take a while to get used to and learn, but again, I'm okay with that. So the motor is in here, the battery sits in the center, which is what all this side detailing is connected to. Now, I'm still learning this, and it's a bit finicky, but in time it will get better. So how do you connect the battery box to the remote? Because this isn't infrared, This is more Bluetooth, which is quite funky. So if I actually try and position this here, this is probably going to be the best angle I can give you. So this sticker piece is actually sat above the button on the battery box. So I'm going to have to hold this button down and this button down on the remote at the same time. They both start to light up, hopefully. Here we go. So in time they'll try and find each other, they will recognize each other. Give it a few seconds. I don't know how long this is supposed to take because again I'm still learning this. But if I were to let go now, hopefully... There we go. They both go green. They recognize each other. They are connected. So this is the motor. And I have this attached to slot A. So on the remote, this side is slot A. Turning this does nothing. I have no idea what that's supposed to do. I think there was an app you could download and that's probably got more details there. But how do I make it work? You simply press the plus button. Press the minus button. How cool is that? So, pressing that was a maximum speed, that red button in the center kills the power. That is very cool compared to the infrared remote. We had to turn that wheel so much just to get up to a good speed. Simply press a button and you're good to go. That is absolutely amazing. Let me actually have a bit of fun with this. So let me get some track pieces back out. Here we go, we got the points over there, and I may as well keep those buffers too. Oh, I love my buffers. There we go, so we got... I don't actually know which way this turns. This is the first time I'm moving this on track. Okay, here we go. So let me just focus this for goodness sakes. There we are. That one there. Wow, okay. So even at one speed, that's quite fast. Wow. That's interesting. Okay, that's actually a lot quicker than I want it to be. That is... But I'll tell you what, that's okay, because that will allow this to move a lot faster. If you had the infrared remote and the old power function system, you will know how slow it was to get that to get going. Or how long it took for it to get going. There we go. But yes, this is interesting. This is actually very cool. Very fun as well, because this is a lot easier to use. And I could definitely see more refined models in the future using this system. So PowerUp System 1, Power Functions 0. And there we go, that is it for this review. I am actually quite happy with how this set turned out. It's interesting to play with, it's not bad, but it's just not good enough to warrant the price tag. It really isn't. In time this price will go down. I'm pretty sure if you were to go on Bricklink you can get one for a pretty decent price, but yeah, let you do you. So there we go, that is it. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.